Now from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Sunday morning.
We are following breaking news right now. 4 people are recovering after a shooting overnight in West Charlotte. The questions we are asking police right now. Today marks 3 years since a gunman walked into a Charleston church and opened fire. 9 parishioners were killed. The steps the city will take today to honor those victims. But first, it's going to be a hot Father's Day. We are using Futurecast to track when the even hotter weather comes our way. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elsa Gillis.
And I'm meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer.
And we are starting in the Weather Center because this heat is just the ongoing top story.
There's a lot to talk about in weather today. The heat, of course, that UV index rising, causing some issues if you're going to be outside for a long time. Don't forget that sunblock. And then by the end of the day, even some showers and thunderstorms. So a lot happening today that you want to be aware of and prepare for. We're taking a look right now at early warning Doppler 9, and it's clear, but don't expect this image to look like this into the evening hours because things are changing out there. 72 degrees in Charlotte right now. It is a warm morning and you can expect a very hot day as well. We'll take a look at those temperatures as well as time out some of those showers coming up in just a few minutes.
I am in the breaking news center right now, and 4 people were shot overnight in West Charlotte. It happened around 2:30 this morning on Queen City Drive. Now you can see right there, police have the Exxon station taped off. Medic says it took 3 people to the hospital. Police say a short time later, a 4th person showed up shot at the hospital. We're asking what led to the shooting and if they're looking for a suspect. Right now, police have not made any arrests. As soon as we learn any new information, we'll let you know on air and online at WSOCTV.com. Today marks 3 years since 9 parishioners were gunned down inside Emmanuel AME Church. This morning at 9:30, a special worship will honor those lost. Throughout the week, there are rallies and events planned to discuss a variety of topics, including race relations and gun control. 3 years ago, Dylan Roof walked into the Charleston church and shot and killed 9 parishioners. It happened during a Bible study. The next day, he was arrested in Shelby. Investigators said Roof had a note in his car with the names of several churches. He also had a Confederate flag, a gun, and an empty box of ammunition. Roof is appealing his death sentence. Channel 9 has followed every development in the Charleston church shooting. You can find our past coverage and a full list of events to remember the 9 parishioners on WSOCTV.com. More than 24 hours after a Statesville officer was shot, police are still looking for the suspect. Yesterday morning, we told you the person stepped out of the shadows as Officer Tyler Horn and his partner patrolled 5th Avenue. Horn was shot in the back. Reporter Deshaun Brown spoke to those near the shooting scene who say it was a scare for them too.
You know, things are bad sometimes.
Neighbors like this one said things were getting better here.
At one time, it was like every night we would hear shots.
The PD put out that they were going to intensify because of the shootings that were going on in the daytimes last year.
And they did. Statesville officers patrol the neighborhoods daily, if not several times a day. Investigators said that's what Officer Tyler Horn was doing on 5th Street when a suspect came out of nowhere, shot at Horn and one other officer.
We had like 5 or 6 shots.
We didn't know what was going on. We did not know that an officer was down. The only thing that we knew was it was a sea of cops outside.
Investigators said one of those bullets hit Horn in the back. The officer who was with him wasn't hurt. Police said Horn's bulletproof vest might have saved his life. And now this neighbor, afraid for her own.
Yeah, because they'll shoot them, they'll shoot us. I wish I could leave. You get scared.
Deshaun Brown, Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning.
Channel 9 has followed a strong push by Statesville police to stop violence in the city. There's been 1 murder in the city so far this year, which is a dramatic drop from this time last year. Police credit adding officers and partnerships with other agencies known as the Violent Crime Collaborative. Tomorrow, 2 parents will be in court on charges connected to the death of their baby girl. Yesterday, investigators told us the baby died May 24th on Knightsbridge Road in Concord. At the time, Ashley Lee and Timothy Tatum were facing drug charges, but based on preliminary autopsy results, they are now charged with child abuse resulting in serious bodily injury. Investigators say they found opioids and cocaine in the home, and they're pushing to get toxicology results quickly. Lee and Tatum are due in court tomorrow on the new charge. Tonight, police and the entire Kansas City, Kansas community will gather to remember 2 deputies shot to death by an inmate. We first told you about the tragedy outside the courthouse yesterday morning. Deputies were preparing to transport 2 inmates from the courthouse Friday when one inmate overpowered the deputies. Investigators believe the inmate used the deputies' own guns, but it's not clear how he got them.
When they pulled into the parking lot and ready to transport these inmates, they were overcome. It is very possible that with their own firearm, they were both shot.
The vigil is set for tonight at 9 o'clock in front of City Hall. 3 correctional officers were attacked by an inmate at a North Carolina prison. It happened yesterday morning at the Polk Correctional Institution in Butner. That's near Durham. The Department of Corrections says inmate Alexis Ramirez assaulted the 3 correctional officers with a homemade weapon. 2 officers were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Ramirez was taken to a medical facility for treatment and evaluation. Officials expect to file criminal charges against him for the attack. Just yesterday morning, we told you state lawmakers are trying to better protect their corrections officers. Friday, they sent a bill to Governor Roy Cooper's desk approving new or expanded crimes for prisoners who expose themselves or commit other malicious acts. The measure comes after 5 corrections officers and staff workers were killed last year at Pasquotank Correctional. The bill also requires prisoners to report prisoner assault to lawmakers. The parents of a 7-month-old killed last month in Kings Mountain now face abuse charges. The Shelby Star reports police arrested Brittany Bell and James Locust Friday. Police say they were out to dinner and left their child, Damian Bell, with a gang member to babysit. Bell says when she got home, Damian was unconscious. And when she called 911, she says Garrett Frederick took off. After a 24-hour manhunt, deputies arrested and charged him with murder. Bell and Locust will face a judge in early July. New this morning, a new right-leaning political poll shows Governor Henry McMaster leading over challenger John Warren in the Republican primary runoff. Trafalgar Group says McMaster has more than 60% support among 1,000 likely Republican runoff voters. Warren has more than 30% of support. However, the poll was taken before Warren received endorsements from the other 2 candidates. McMaster and Warren will debate this week ahead of the June 26 primary. McMaster pulled off 44% of the vote in last week's primary, while Warren had 25%. It's an automatic runoff because neither got at least 50% of the vote. Now that debate is set for Wednesday at the Newberry Opera House. The runoff winner will face Democratic Representative James Smith and American Party candidate Martin Berry. In North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper says he'll veto 2 bills that will impact November's election. The first would adjust judicial election districts in 4 counties, including Mecklenburg. The other would prevent the Green and Constitution parties from nominating candidates who lost in other primaries for the November election. Republicans are expected to try and override the vetoes sometime this week. Lawmakers will also debate the controversial voter ID bill. It would let voters decide this November on adding an amendment to require a photo ID to vote. Now, if approved, it would become law and Governor Cooper wouldn't be able to veto it. You may remember federal judges struck down a 2013 voter ID law. They said it targeted black voters. Democrats say the new bill is unnecessary. This week, Mecklenburg County leaders will take a final vote on the proposed $1.7 billion budget. Last week, they made slight adjustments to the proposed budget, including one-time funding of nearly $7 million to boost CMS teacher salaries. They will also give $4.6 million to help upgrade security at CMS buildings. Lastly, they devoted $50,000 to help homeless resources in the county. Commissioners will take a final vote on Tuesday. Also happening Tuesday, the Charleston City Council will discuss apologizing for its role in slavery. Councilman William Gregory is behind a new resolution that calls for the city to both recognize and denounce its roles in supporting slavery. Historians believe 40% of American slaves first set foot in Charleston. Gregory said the resolution will be more than a proclamation on a piece of paper.
This resolution is an apology from the city of Charleston, of which we know had a key role in the slave trade in this country.
The resolution will be read at the Charleston City Council meeting Tuesday, which is also Juneteenth Day. That commemorates the abolishment of slavery. Now come to your TV and check out this video. Yesterday, a taxi plowed into several World Cup fans in Moscow. You can see witnesses rushing to the driver's side to pull open the door, but the driver bolts out of the car and runs. Police are now questioning that driver. 8 people were hurt in the crash near Red Square. Police say the driver told them he didn't plan the crash. Russia is hosting the World Cup, and Moscow's streets have been crowded with international visitors. Today, you can watch some of the World Cup games at our Telemundo station's viewing party. You're invited to come watch the big games with us at the neighborhood theater. Tickets are free, but you do need to register. We have all the information on Telemundo Charlotte's Facebook page. Click on events. A new position will help University of South Carolina students fight addictions next year. The school added a full-time staff member to coordinate support programs for recovering addicts. A recent survey found 4% of students say they could use help recovering from an addiction. About 200 other universities have similar programs. Starting tonight, new construction work will impact your drive through Union County. Crews will shift traffic on US 74 at the Sardis Church Road intersection. Tomorrow night, traffic will shift at the Faith Church Road intersection. Now, it's part of a project to improve those intersections. 7:10 now, a live look outside right now from our Lake Norman cam. That sun is strong. Meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer has an update on your forecast from Severe Weather Center 9.
Well, later this afternoon, the big story will be those showers and pop-up thunderstorms. But until we get to that point, the big story is the UV index. We are set to hit that extreme category today, meaning if you're planning on spending any time outside for Father's Day or really for any reason, don't forget that sunblock, drink lots of water, and also don't forget those sunglasses because of these harmful UV rays, especially late in the morning and then early in the afternoon. Another thing we are tracking, that allergy index, or excuse me, that air quality. So you want to keep that in mind. We're tracking that as we move through the day. Could see that reach unhealthy for sensitive groups.
Shocking video of a teen dressed in a KKK costume.
It made me feel unsafe and threatened.
All new at 7:45, the reason the student wore the outfit and the prior approval he got. Another travel issue for American Airlines. At 7:30, the surprising flight one woman was on just days after a computer glitch canceled hundreds of flights in Charlotte. Tension will continue this week over new U.S. tariffs. Next, the official in the hot seat and the ongoing backlash over those tariffs.
Like us on Facebook to follow the latest breaking news, top stories, and weather. To join in on the conversation, log on to WSOCTV.com and click on the Facebook icon at the top of the page.